All right, everybody, give me a second to get situated here. That wasn't too bad. And let's see. Let's get this. So we get that straight. All right, folks, what are we talking about today? It's straight-ish. I'm gonna do a quick review of a Kaviso. What the hell was this knife I just ordered? I know I just got rid of a ton of knives, but there was one I really wanted to check out. So this is a Ray Laconica design called the Keen Mini. Now they got a larger version that's much more expensive. This one was only 59 bucks. I'll put a link in there right to their website. Ordered it on Wednesday, should have had it, or Tuesday, should have had it Friday, but something happened in the mail. I got lost in Chicago for 3 days and just finally showed up. But what is it? Well, let's see. It is a Kaviso. You know, I wonder why. What are these other ones out here? Because these two are designs by Ray Laconica. One is, the shit was this one? I don't freaking remember. It's an Artisan Cutlery Sirius, Sirius, in RPM 9 steel. And that, as you can see on the spine of the blade, is a Ray Laconica design. And then I've got my Civivi, I'm so bad with names, another Ray Laconica design. It's the, I don't know what this one is. It's something I'll remember probably partway through this. Let's see if we go to the Amazons. Look through my orders real quick. Let's see, orders and Civivi. I had a brazen. It's a Sokoke. Sokoke? S-O-K-O-E. S-O-K-O-K-E. Something like that. I don't know. That's the problem. There's so many knives and they're so popular right now. Everybody's got to come up with a new goofy name that's different from all the other names that sets it apart. It's impossible to remember anything. It's just so many knives out there. But anyway, we got a Civivi Sokoke, and then we've got the Sirius from Artisan Cutlery. And these were, I don't know, what was this one, like $70 or something like that? This one I think was like 49 or 53. This one's, all right, $62.99, so 63. This one's right in that range at 60 bucks. So I've not seen this. I have never seen one in person. Simple box so far. Is it taped or just sticking? It's just a tight fit, giggity. So let's get the goddamn thing open up the frickin' box. Jesus Christ, guys. I mean, it's great that the box just doesn't open up on its own and spill the contents all over the place, but it would be nice if I could get the freaking box open. Well, yeah, that is a tight fit. Reminds me of prom night. All right, anyway, so what do we have? It's kind of little. It is the Mini, after all. Simple box. Okay, I'm sure, is there under there a manual or anything? Yeah, no manual, no paperwork. All right. Simple wrapper. This has the aluminum anodized handle, and the blade steel. Let's see, does it? Nice action. The blade steel is 14C28N, which is a great blade steel. And honestly, I've been seeing some interesting reviews and people talking about, like, you know, when you actually look at the chart, everyone thinks, oh, M390, it's got to be LMAX, you got to have 20 CV, you have to have these super steels. Yeah, they hold an edge a little longer, but, you know, is MagnaCut really that better on a daily basis, especially if it's harder to sharp? And so he was going through all the ratings from Crucible and other, you know, metallurgy authorities, and looking at the toughness ratings of how the steel's rated. And obviously a lot of it comes down to how they heat treat it and things like that. But seeing what the toughness, the corrosion resistance, and Sandvik, this stuff right here, the 14C28N, is actually right up there with a lot of what you would consider super steels. It's like if one has a rating of a 6, it's like, well, this might be a 5.8. It's not really that far behind it, but it's a fraction of the price. And it sharpens easy, and it's a nice knife steel. So anyway, we got aluminum here. Looks like it does have some kind of steel spacers or steel underneath. Nice and strong, no flex. It does have a nice machined pocket clip. I don't believe it is reversible. No. Does have a hole for the lanyard. I feel like that piece kind of ruins the aesthetic a little bit, but so many knives are like that. They just go, oh, 1 in 5,000 people are going to want a lanyard, so let's just drill a hole through the frickin' knife. Instead of finding a way to maybe hide it, like there, the Artisan does a much better job. So that's hidden, so it's out of the way. So when you look at it, you just see minimal. You see a pivot screw and 2 other screws, and that's it. Here, you just see the pivot screw, 2 screws, but then I see that hole. My eye goes right to it. It's like the horrible notch on an iPhone. That was a design element that were Steve Jobs still alive. Whoever in that boardroom stood up and said, you know what, we need to take a big chunk out of the top of the screen, he would have fired them right on the fucking spot. Pardon my French. Don't know how that abomination got into their design language. And then tried to spin it and make it sound like it's somehow a benefit to you. It's like, no, making my screen smaller because you couldn't figure out how to make the cameras work. You should have come up with something else. In any case, it's got a 3-inch blade with a 2 3/4 inch cutting size. So it's on the smaller side for me for EDC, but it's a nice size. It's not a tiny knife by any means. Let's see if I can go find my original order, get the weight from it. Let's see, my order's on the way, view my order. Dun-dun-dun. Get rid of all the disclaimers. Where's the freaking order? Let's just go to Kaviso and let's go to their knives and folding knives. And I know I'm going to have someone yelling at me. I can't believe you. I had to wait 14 minutes or 7 minutes to get to the piece that I want. Fast forward, douchebag. People are always big. Doesn't matter what you do or how well you do it. Someone out there's going to be banging on their keyboard from their mom's basement, all angry. And, oh, I can't believe I had to. And you mispronounced this. Whatever. Grow up. All right, 6.7-inch aluminum overall length. We've got a 3-inch blade with a 2 3/4 cutting edge. As far as the specs, their website's a little funky, just the way they have it set up. Description, great, side by side. There we go. Handle is 4.5. Oh, that's the full size. 3.83. It's 2.85 ounces. That's the frickin' stat I wanted, was the 2.85 ounces. So for its size, it feels, because it's concentrated in a small area, it feels heavier than it is. I mean, 2.85 is only 1 ounce more than a bug out, which is a featherweight. But this feels solid. The blade stock is actually kind of nice. Now on their website, they're saying 2.88 inch for the blade. And I guess technically that's, I was looking at here, but I guess if I look at the handle, it's 2.88. And the cutting edge is about 2 3/4. You do have a nice little sharpening choil right there, so that shouldn't be a problem sharpening. It's a flipper. What I like about the flipper is that it's not at a 90-degree angle. It doesn't stick up. So here you have just enough jimping to grab it, but when it flips around to this side, it's not pushing back hard, angled into your knuckle. It's there, I can feel it, but it's not sharp, so that's good. A lot of times that piece, the flipper, that becomes then the finger guard, which is useful. I mean, it's good to have because this handle is a little bit slick. This is going to be more of a gentleman's folder. This is not a hard use knife, although it's well built and the blade seems pretty strong, and having aluminum scales over steel is certainly going to be a strong design. No wiggle room whatsoever. I believe these bearings, I don't know, I'll look that up, are really nice snappy action. Seems like a good grind. That's a very high flat grind on a kind of a stone washed finish. It's a good looking knife. They got them in a couple different colors. There's a sky blue one. The green to me was the least flashy. Black is just kind of boring after a while. I've got enough knives that are in black. I was like, let me get something different. As far as, there's a couple burrs on the blade. I mean, it's sharp, it cuts, but when you start twisting, going at different angles, just catching a little bit. We'll just strop that real quick. Does it do a push test? Yeah, it actually does a push test, so I think it's just got the blade geometry is good. It just needs a little bit of, pretty effortless too, actually. That's a sharp blade. It just got a couple burrs. We'll strop it real quick. So that is a Ray Laconica Keen Mini in aluminum. They have a Keen Full that you can get in titanium, and that's got the 3.4 inch blade, and it's quite a bit bigger. For me personally, it's a little small. It's about the size of an Elementum, and for an everyday carry for me, there'll be times when I do carry it. It is nice. It's a fairly deep pocket clip. It's a nice, well-built knife for 59 bucks. I would probably prefer to have the full-size Keen. I just don't want to spend $170 on another knife. I'm trying to actually get rid of some knives, but I'd already planned to buy this one. And I think I actually had bought this one online when I decided to help. I needed to clear out my drawer and got rid of like 25 knives. But yeah, that's really nice. I like that. I like the stonewash blade. It's a really nice, I guess that would be a spear point, right? I mean, some people call them drop points, but that is almost perfectly symmetrical. So I'm going to call that a spear point. I love the grind. It's pretty damn sharp. Just need to strop it real quick, get a couple little burrs off there. The handle's nicely anodized. I wouldn't mind a little more grip. Although I'll say this will probably go in and out of the pocket real nice. The tension, good. Not too much. And especially going over this smooth, it's not going to tend to tear up your pocket. Good job on them. Very, very nice. Action, is it drop shutty? Getting it drop shutty is kind of hard with those little tiny blades. They just don't have a lot of mass to them. But yeah, you got to kind of flick it a little bit just to get it to kind of go down. But that's fine. That'll probably loosen up a little bit. I could probably even adjust the pivot. Although with bearings, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Side comparison, size, not side. That's one of my verbal typos. Someone's going to go, you said the wrong word. Shut up. I get it. Geez, I'm not perfect. Compared to my little Sage 5, which is my most common EDC these days. Love it. There's something nice and classy about that. I love the grind. I love the blade. I like it better than the satin finish where you can see the grind marks. It's just, I love that stonewash. It's shiny enough without being, hey, look at me, without feeling blingy. I like this finish. I wouldn't mind a little more texture, but for what they were going for here, it's just a nice little, I would say this is going to be a competitor kind of like for an Elementum. It's right in the same price point. It's around the same weight. It's a similar size. They're both flippers. Probably should have thought ahead of time to bring my goddamn Elementum out, but it's on the other end of the house. So I'm not going to pause this and go get it. So I'm sure everybody at this point knows what an Elementum is. But it's very similar in size to an Elementum. I like the fit and finish. I like the backspacer there. While it leaves this somewhat open, you've got your liner lock. Lockup is good. Blade centering is absolutely spot on perfect. Really good blade centering out of the box. The fit and finish is impeccable. Looks like we got T6s here and here, and then we got a T8 up here. I like that he puts his name on the spine, although he didn't do that with the Sokoke, or at least with the Civivi. He didn't do that with the Sokoke. Maybe because the blade's real thin, wasn't wide enough. Actually, let's see how thick this blade is compared. It's only a little bit. It's not much. It's a little bit wider. I think he could have fit his name on there, but for whatever reason, he didn't. He did do it on this one, and this one's as thin, so I don't know. Maybe that was just a Civivi thing. They just decided not. I love this knife, his other design. The action on it is just amazing. My only downside to it is I probably should have gotten it in micarta. I got the G10 because that's what they had in stock at that time. But honestly, the G10 to me, it's contoured really nicely. It's very organic and ergonomic. It's really comfortable to hold. It just doesn't feel like it has that much traction. Again, I could go with a little more grip. And the micarta, I think, might have offered that, depending on how they did the micarta. Micarta with Civivi can kind of go either way. They have it where it's more raw linen and you feel the texture of the weave. And then they have one where it's under like more epoxy and resin. And so it feels more like plastic or carbon fiber. You don't feel the actual grain. I like this kind of carbon fiber because you're actually getting traction. You can feel the weave. But get this off. It's not a Ray Laconica design, so it doesn't deserve to be here. But Ray's got some interesting designs. You know, this one's going to flow a little bit more like the Sokoke and some of the others. I think the Kaiser Gemini, I think, was one of his. Very, not the exact same, but just that sort of ergonomic, minimalist, just feels right in your hand. It's a tool. you know, and you just pick this up and you're like, I could get some stuff done. When it comes down to the handle design and the texture, that's probably more a Civivi thing, and maybe they did it a certain way for a certain price point, or, you know, whatever they were trying to achieve. But overall, I really like his designs. They're just very, very simple. You know, you look at it and you're like, you got a nice spear point blade. You have a well done flipper that's not too obtrusive. It's nice and rounded and comfortable. You got a nice machined pocket clip and a nice, simple, straightforward handle. You're not going to get a whole hand on this. I mean, I can barely get my hand on there. But if you just want a small, discreet EDC that's, you know, looks much more premium than it is. I mean, if you look at this knife and you feel it, you'd go, I don't know, it was a $125 knife, $150. What'd you pay for this? And you're like, $59 on Amazon. Well, no, this one wasn't from Amazon. I had to actually get this one from their website. And you'd go, there's no way that's a $59 knife. This is another, you know, brand out of China. I think that this might be, it's a California. Ray Laconica is in California. But, you know, he does these designs for these different companies. Worked for Kaiser, he worked with Artisan and CJRB and others, where he takes his designs and he goes to these companies in China and says, here's what I want to build. Or maybe they go, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they go to him and say, hey, why don't you design a cool knife for us? And he's like, here, build it. Give me my monies. But that's a really nice little knife. I'm going to put that into the collection. Sometimes I get a review and then I give them away. I'm going to put that one in there. I like it. I like it that it's like my Elementum. I don't carry the Elementum as much. Like I said, as my actual EDC workhorse, I'm typically carrying a Spyderco or something like this. But occasionally I'll grab something a little bit different, you know, just for, I don't know, you just want to mix it up a little, right? So, some people have different sneakers. You know, I wear my same old beaters every day, but other people are like, no, I'm gonna freshen things up. I'm gonna something different. It also has to do with what environment you go into, right? If you're in an office, then maybe something like a Swiss Army knife or something small, more dainty, a little more minimalist is okay. You're going to attract less attention. You pull out your paramilitary 2 or a Medford in the office because you want to cut a sandwich in half, and people look at you a little weird. And then you're having a discussion with HR. So that is the Keen Mini in aluminum. I'll put a link to their website. You can see their other knives. Give them a look, man. It's a really nice knife. They didn't. I went and bought this with my own money. They didn't give it to me. No one's given me a goddamn thing to review ever. But I'm certainly open to that. So, you know, if you'd like me to review stuff, certainly send it my way. But yeah, this is actually manufactured by QSP. That's why it's a really nice, well-done knife. QSP makes really nice knives. Down to their cheap $35 Penguins that are little freaking workhorses and very well executed, up to some, you know, $150 to $200 knives. They've got the manufacturing prowess, and it clearly shows. This is a beautiful, elegant little knife. So anyway, I've gone on long enough. Gave you the specs, gave you my impressions. It's an unboxing. So if I get somebody complaining, you didn't actually cut anything with it. I know, it's an unboxing and impressions video. It's not, I'm not Gideon's Tactical. I'm not going to be shoot for a week and go out in the woods, wait till it snows so I can go down and cut down a tree and, you know, cut it up for kindling and make a fire with it. He's got time to do that stuff. I don't. So anyway, that is the Keen Mini. Very nice little knife. Definitely one to check out.